All right, welcome back to Fleccas Talks, the podcast, episode 110. Today on the show, Travis Kelce makes a deal with the deep state. We'll tell you what he got in return. Then, the situation at our southern border is truly a bizarro world as border agents are letting everyone in. Then in Cringe of the Week, teachers are confessing that entire grades of students are years behind and no one's talking about it. And last but not least, in Urban Decay, San Franciscans are forced to get their belongings back from street rats because police aren't helping them at all, and progressives are fine with it. All this and more, it's Fleccas Talks, the podcast, episode 110, ranked the best new podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words. But at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fleccas Talks, the podcast featuring Richard Grab.
All right, one for one on the intro, as always. Guys, this week's episode is brought to you by FleccasTalks.com. Have you been on the fence about joining? Well, we have a very big announcement for you. Starting today, there will be a bonus 30-minute bonus land episode after every public episode we drop on YouTube. So if you weren't sure about joining before, now is the time. That's an extra hour of content exclusively to FleccasTalks.com members every week. 4 hours of exclusive content per month. And if you join today, you get the backlog of all of our past episode, hours and hours of content. We have a Discord. You can join the Discord and talk to us there. We have Q&As and exclusive interviews as well. Join FleccasTalks.com today. First month is free, so it averages out to about $7 a month, which is like an expensive coffee these days. So join today and get access to the bonus episodes that drop right after our public episodes drop. FleccasTalks.com is the website. Send me a screenshot showing you joined for a chance to win a free t-shirt or a free base mug. Thank you guys for joining. It makes the show operate on a high level. We couldn't do it without all of you. FleccasTalks.com is the website. Now let's get into housekeeping. All right, thank you to FleccasTalks.com for sponsoring.
Thank you, Fleccas.
You're welcome. It's very important to join. There's a bunch of people. We all hang out. We're in the Discord. A lot of good members and a lot of good inside stuff when you become a member of FleccasTalks.com.
Yes, sir.
All right, Travis Kelce, the news of the week. He's got a big new deal with the deep state, and he also is dating Taylor Swift.
They smushed him together.
So total sellout move. They offered him a lot of money and he couldn't resist. He did the Pfizer ad.
So yeah, he's doing his advertisement is about getting your flu shot and your COVID vaccine yearly.
Get 2 vaccines.
I'm sure he did that too.
And he also did the Bud Light ad a couple months ago in the middle of all the Bud Light drama.
Yeah, that was during July. And, you know, you could chalk that one up to, oh, we filmed it before, you paid a twink to ruin your fan base. And also, speaking of Bud Light, I don't even call it a boycott anymore. It's just dead to certain people.
A boycott would be like, we're stopping until they change.
I really want it, but man.
We're just never drinking Bud Light again.
Yeah, it's so over.
So they clearly don't care about the money. That's why they offered him so much money.
Yeah.
It's not about the money, Travis Kelce. It's about the message.
It's about owning you a little bit.
Then they offered you whatever they offered you for the Pfizer ad and the Bud Light ad, and you're like, I can't turn that down. And it was like an all-around level up package. Oh, you do this deal, you become our Muppet, you do what we tell you to say, and then you can date Taylor Swift. It's all fake. No one's dating Taylor Swift. They whore her out.
Yeah, you get her for 6 months, Travis, so enjoy the time.
Yeah, and then they try to level him up, but he's not a high-level guy himself. But he's trying to get to a new level that he wouldn't have gotten to, and that's why he's taking this deal. Like a smart guy, like a Joe Burrow type, he's not going to take the Pfizer ad.
Well, and that's the rumor, right? That they offered Joe Burrow the same deal for like $20 million or something, and Joe Burrow turned it down?
Yeah, exactly. That's the rumor. I believe it. Rings true to me.
Yeah.
So Travis Kelce couldn't see through it, saw the money and goes, Aruga! And he had to sign his name on the line. I sometimes think about this. I did the joke a while ago that if Mike Pence gave me $500,000 cash after taxes,
you would endorse him?
I would go, guys, it's time to vote for Mike Pence. And I kind of do like a half wink, like wonky eye.
It's really time.
Guys, make sure you get your vaccines. And you kind of do like a weird face where the whole thing is like, the people on set are like, is your eye okay?
Yeah, the director's like, Travis, you're saying vaccines.
I'm like, no.
It's close enough.
Every take, you just give them a wonky eye and kind of botch it.
Yeah.
And let them use what they want. And then everyone will watch and go, oh, he doesn't really believe this. He got $20 million. Let him have it.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. We have a really important housekeeping today.
Okay.
We have, I don't even want to tell you how many pages.
It feels like 6.
4.
Okay.
All right, Joe Biden called LL Cool J, LLJ Cool J, and then he called him boy right after.
Two of the great artists of our time representing the groundbreaking legacy of hip-hop in America, LLJ Cool J. By the way, that man's got biceps bigger than my thighs. I think he's been...
That boy?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh. And everyone jumps to his defense. Oh, he misspoke for a second. No big deal. But when Trump says some of the people coming across the southern border are rapists and murderers, and some, I'm sure, are fine people, they're like, no. He meant to say all of them. He meant to say all the people coming across the border.
Yeah.
I have this thing.
What is he honoring? I just saw the clip. What is he honoring LL Cool J for?
Probably some hip hop thing. Kamala probably set it up.
Yeah, true.
But, obviously Joe Biden's very retarded. You could, I told you this a couple days ago, I think you could go to Joe Biden in a press conference and say, Mr. President, do you think the extraterrestrials will uphold their end of the bargain? And I think you could, trick him into, giving up too much info. Because there is some extraterrestrial deal that's been in place for sure.
Well, they have done it for 500 years, so I see no reason. Oh, shit.
Exactly. You just completely lead him to it and kind of lie and lean into, bluff into a certain direction that you kind of know to be true. And I think Joe Biden would give it away.
I agree.
You got to bluff in the right direction, it's called.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Border insanity.
Hold on, you've been really liking this picture of John Fetterman, too, not to stop you.
Oh, yeah. We have this picture of John Fetterman we got to get to. There he is.
All right.
Big John. All right, border insanity. Highest month of border crossings ever under Joe Biden. 300 and something thousand people in 1 month. And that amount of people is more than the population of 15 American states, states.
Yeah. So it's getting greasy. It's worse than ever. And this is kind of like a disjointed border section where we have just a lot of random stats here. I'm not sure how you want to handle it, but
I have it. I have it ready.
All right.
The people coming across, also based on all the videos we're seeing and all the stats that have been provided, mostly men.
Yeah.
There's not much Sophie's Choice type situations happening.
It's just, all right, you bro? Okay. Nobody with you? Great.
Yeah. And then we have this video of Border Patrol.
Well, hold on, because I want to say, at a certain point, it's the same thing as the metal detector argument we talked about on the last episode, where if people were honest and said something like, hey, only doing family units, or if you're a guy, you got to come in with a mother and a child, and okay, we'll sort that out, and you'll still have to prove you need it later. But they're not even doing that. They're not even arguing for oh no, we're only doing kids or in high risk things or family units. It's just bring in the guys from West Africa.
Yeah, line up, bring in the West Africans.
What happened?
Just completely lining them up, and
so that's how you know it's not even in good faith. It's not even in good oh, it's from my heart. It's just yo, men. In what other context do progressives care about men in anything close to that?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point. So they're just lining them up. Everyone's a man, basically. They're all coming in. Look at this Carrie Lake tweet. This kind of summed it up for Arizona.
She said, last month I got an email from a Border Patrol agent who said they had lost operational control of the Arizona border. He said, they look like soldiers from other countries. They are not here to help us. They are here to harm us. God forbid we're going to have another 9/11. Biden's deliberate decision not to secure our border is endangering our lives. And obviously, and that's kind of a slow burn. They got to get to where they need to go, eventually do some crimes. And then, we said 98%, this 92% rather, comes from the EU stats, but it's we're kind of applying this to everything across
you can
Western.
Extrapolate.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not less than 80. And it says just 8% of EU illegal immigrants are women. And, the rapes are up. They don't come with anybody. There's only men and women have 51% women, 49% men in every country. And, the rapes are...
They don't know how to interact with first worlders, and it's getting greasy and ugly fast. Here's a clip of our Border Patrol agents cutting razor wire on the border. So remember, you guys know Border Patrol agents.
Yeah.
What's their job? To secure the border and keep illegals out. But not in bizarro 2023 world. What's their job? Their job is to cut the barbed wire on the border and then to give a rope to people in the Rio Grande and pull them in so they can come into the country illegally. So here's them chopping the razor wire.
And this is razor wire that's installed by the Texas National Guard. So Abbott is trying to be like, no, we got to do something on our own. Nobody's helping us. Joe Biden doesn't help us. And then the Border Patrol goes, well, somebody went in the river anyway. We got to help them up.
So
Welcome.
They cut the wire and then they give them a rope. We can fast forward to the end here, and they're just pulling the people in so they can come in illegally to the country.
Yep. Man, military-aged man.
Over 300,000 people in 1 month.
Yep.
And then in Europe, they're obviously having a similar agenda being played out. And the German police arrested people for posting about the migrants. Do you have that headline?
Yeah, so this is kind of something that's happened in multiple places in Europe, and this is from Raw Egg Nationalist, but he said, first, it was the French authorities arresting people and threatening them with 5 years in prison for simply saying that the French must prepare to defend themselves against migrant violence. Now the German police are threatening to arrest people who share footage of a brutal migrant attack in the sleepy northern German town of Lübeck. The attack has received absolutely no local or national media coverage in Germany, and the police are pretending it didn't happen. But ordinary people are sharing the video on social media, making an official media government cover-up possible. And so he goes on to say, rather than confront the nature and scale of the disaster they have created, which in any case benefits them, Europe's politicians will instead continue to punish ordinary people for having the gall to even notice. As Europe becomes more and more of an absolute state will emerge to ensure its dwindling native populations stay in line and accept their fate, whether they like it or not. And it's all over this headline. So
with this and our open borders, obviously people are not happy about that. The everyday Americans on both sides politically are not happy with that. Trump is now 10 points ahead in a new poll that wasn't even a right-wing poll. I think it was like AP or
ABC and Washington Post
poll. So Trump is 10 points ahead of Biden, which, in my mind, it would tell me they're either going to dump Joe or try not to have an election at all.
Yeah.
And maybe you can
That's a precursor for your schizo mind on dumping Joe,
I've
for
seen
sure.
the pieces get moved around here, and we have hundreds of millions of third world people going all over the world to first world countries illegally. And it makes you wonder, what if the plan is to cancel the 2024 election because of a new pandemic brought by these illegals, maybe Ebola, something like that. And then your plan would be, hey, this pandemic is so bad, we can't even have an election. We're going to put something in place. Joe Biden's the president until it all gets settled, borderline martial law type-ish.
Okay.
So there's like a schizo spiral there that can be spiraled.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that they're going to potentially try to not even do an election next year.
Okay. That's long shot odds. It's long shot odds,
but I'm buying those options.
Cool.
All right, let's move on. We have to get through housekeeping. We're only on the first page. Now we're on the second page. Congrats to Marina Abramovich.
Yeah.
That spirit cooking witch who's lived multiple lives. She's going to...
What is she, 340 years old now at this point?
She goes all the way back to Transylvania.
Yeah. So Zelensky asked Marina Abramovich to be ambassador for Ukraine. The artist will lend her voice to help rebuild schools in the country.
That's great.
Yeah.
Congrats to her. Here's some pictures of her, some of the work she's done and some of the art she's produced.
Yeah, some corpses, some dead baby type shit,
Dead baby corpses. Lady laying on dead babies. So she's going to be in charge of that. I guess all the military-aged men that would have resisted that in Ukraine have already been killed.
Yeah, they're gone.
So now it's time to loot and sacrifice the country, basically.
Subvert, loot, buy the yacht, get everything you ever wanted if you're an oligarch type, you know? Times are good.
Exactly. Times are good in Ukraine. Charlie Kirk had a tweet about what's going on there. that really summed it up, kind of summed up the priorities of our country and what we're up to.
Did you know U.S. taxpayers are paying the salaries of every first responder in Ukraine, all 57,000 of them? We're also paying for seeds and grain, which have been flooding nearby Poland. Oh, and we're subsidizing small businesses to keep them in business. And that was from a 60 Minutes report that came out, I think, on Sunday night.
Great.
Yeah,
So
love it.
We're the 51st state. We're paying for everything over there, all the money. We're good here.
Oh, yeah.
It's called spreading the wealth.
Yeah, I just drove over a bridge that hasn't been serviced since 1978. But, Ukraine, at least they're still sending people to the front line to continue the multi-year-long war against a nuclear superpower with missile ranges and ballistic power that Ukraine could never have.
Because we got to stop the Russians.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah, all of our people are dead on fentanyl on the ground in Philadelphia. We need to stop the Russians.
Oh, you know what I saw? I saw somebody on Twitter say that you shouldn't capitalize Russia anymore. You should spell it with a lowercase r.
Take that, Putin.
You're done.
All right, let's move on. We're still in housekeeping. White Latinos. So you guys remember that story we covered last week of the two kids joyriding the stolen car, then they ran a car off the road and then ran over a retired police officer on a bike and killed him.
Of course.
So those guys are being charged, and one of them is being...
As adults,
and one of them is being labeled a white Latino.
From none other than our boy Tariq Nasheed.
Of course.
Who, his obsession with buck breaking and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. After a week of white supremacists online falsely claimed these suspects were black, Vegas police released their names. And like we said, the suspects are two white Hispanics.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at the suspects. There they are, the white Hispanics. The guy's got dreads. And the other guy looks like he's just Hispanic with a face tattoo. That's a white Hispanic.
Jesus Alaya. That's a very white Hispanic name.
And another white Hispanic named Jazamir Keys.
Jazamir.
J-Z. You know how those letters go together.
Yeah.
You must be Polish.
That's English.
So, yeah, those guys are considered white. And this happens a lot. We found kind of like this honey hole of examples.
The Texas Public Sex Offender Registry here. Daquan Yavante. He's listed as white.
White.
Kendrick Green.
White.
White. Eddie Lee Williams.
That's a nice white name, yeah.
Eddie Stephen Williams.
All white.
Also white.
And this Twitter guy who follows it, he's been kind of exposing this. It's called Unbiased Crime Report.
He said, I exposed all of these. Some have been corrected since. They are archived here as well. So he's like keeping track of our crime statistic source material. I post new ones almost daily. So this guy's like constantly scouring the criminal databases for, inflated stats. So when we end up comparing a lot of our stats for, who's doing the crime,
it's actually way worse.
Yeah, the white numbers are even inflated is what it seems to me.
They're trying to pad the stats to make it look less bad for minorities.
And these are black. These people are all very dark black. The Hispanic, the lighter-skinned Hispanic happens way more.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
So what are the real crime stats? That's what I'd like to know.
I don't know.
All right, moving on. Next page.
I'll just go by videos on the internet now.
Yeah.
What do I see?
What Tariq Nasheed says, and we'll compare it. All right, make sure you guys use the opportunity to tickle the post, juice the algo. It goes a long way. Leave some comments again, like the video, and make sure notifications are on.
Yeah.
It really helps. You guys have been crushing it. Thank you for all the tickle juice. Gives me big squirts.
Yeah, it does help.
All right, moving on. A girl football player.
Yeah. What's your angle on this?
Well,
you know how girls love football and they play and they start over fifth-year seniors.
Yeah, and they're just as good. There's always every year a girl on the team who's like a kicker or something, and they let her do a bad kickoff or an extra point, and they go, "Oh, girl plays football. Wow." This girl actually played on the regular team.
Yeah, she played on defense. This girl from Shenandoah University, Haley Van Voorhees, like Jason, became the first female non-kicker to play in a collegiate football game and registered a quarterback hurry.
So here's her. She's number 10. Let's watch it.
I already watched this.
So there's her running in. Everyone's giving her high fives. She doesn't know where to go. So she's standing. She's a linebacker. She's very at safety level now. Doesn't know where to go. She's at middle linebacker, even though she's not a middle linebacker.
Yeah, let's get a girl in the A gap.
And the guy's telling her come off the side.
And she gets missed assignment. No block.
No one blocks her. She hurries the quarterback and kind of tackles him. So that girl weighs probably 140 pounds,
Yeah, tops.
which is like no one on the team weighs that much.
Not even a cornerback.
Like 140 is so small, and she's a linebacker. And then there's, she went in to do that. You telling me there's not seniors on the team that are better than her, that are probably like 220 and just maybe have been fighting injuries or haven't gotten in?
Yeah, I mean, this is the same as the other girl kicker. Coach wants to make the news, and then she gets invited on the Today Show the next morning.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's let her go in for more plays and see how she does.
Yeah, we need a body of work. We need a start. We need her to start. We need highlights, and I will watch every play of the game if you play her.
Me too.
On the whole defense.
I'll watch Shenandoah football, baby. Yeah. I'm a fan now.
LSU Hornets, let's go. And of course, she'll get destroyed. She'll be pancaked. She'll be humiliated. Someone will like pick her up and do something that you've never seen someone do on a football field before.
Vertical.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. And of course, the Today Show, all the ladies on there probably love it.
Yeah. And we're not being mean to the girl specifically. Just
No.
the idea of a girl playing football. She's too small. A guy her size would never play. A girl her size would really never play, but they're just forcing it. If that is you and you're somehow a fan of the show, we'll send you a base mug
Yeah.
because you're the only girl to ever play football.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Show watchers are exceptional people. All right, moving on. We really need to catch up. McDonald's has a new ad campaign in Japan and a new ad campaign in America. We're going to kind of compare the two ads. So in Japan, they have this nice ad for McDonald's. You have a guy and his wife and a kid that looks just like him. That's nice. The mom and daughter look exactly the same.
Yep.
Isn't that sweet? That's a nice ad. Japan, McDonald's, sound. Good. Here's the ad in America.
I'm Amara Jones, founder of Translash Media. In this Black Lives Matter moment, Black trans women have a very simple message: stop killing us. We can't expect others to care about us more than we care about ourselves. We're all free, or none of us is.
None of us is.
None of us are. So there was a grammatical error, but because the person is a trans woman of color,
No such thing as a grammatical error for someone like that, right?
yeah, it's like ask versus ask. It's like, well, let her say it however she says it, or
Yeah.
none of us is. So, McDonald's is a huge company, right?
Huge.
They use vegetables and meat, tomato and lettuce and onions,
Potatoes.
and beef. You could have really picked any social cause. You could have picked animal agriculture. You could have been free-range cows, buying from regenerative farms only, but instead they picked trans murder as their issue.
How many of those are there? Trans murders. I think we actually covered it on the show, and we were looking at the offender list, and it was black offender
Yeah.
for the most part. And I think there were something like 30.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and that's what we were talking about off camera is these sort of mega corporations. It's like, so Chief, how's this going to help us sell more burgers? And it's like, what? No, that's not what we're doing. Like, we don't give a fuck.
Sell burgers.
But like, the Toms, those shoes where it's like you buy a pair of Toms and then we give some shoes to a kid in Africa too. That's how we do it. The socks, the same thing. We'll donate socks after you buy a pack to a homeless shelter. And it's like, McDonald's, we just want you to stop killing trans people. How does that leap get made,
Well, yeah. I think the way that leap got made was there was a trans hostage takeover.
I think there was someone in the boardroom who acted like a girl but had a dick.
There's a high-level trans person involved at the corporate level who, I'm not pointing any fingers, but is there like a Deb walking around the office? Oh, I'm Deb.
Yeah.
We need to do this trans thing. And everyone goes, yeah, I mean, for sure.
Yeah, Deb, of course. That's important to you.
So my opinion on this is that there was a trans hostage takeover.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
And it poisons the whole batch.
And then this is kind of the thing that we talked about with the AIDS Foundation with the butthole sculpture last week. The trans person starts yapping in the boardroom and nobody steps up. Nobody goes, hey, maybe not. Maybe that's not the most important issue in America right now.
Everyone gets scared.
Yeah.
And then there's also this idea that the culture, there's like a meme that goes around. They got you fighting the culture war to stop you from fighting the
Class war.
The class war. And they have this idea that like this trans issue is actually no big deal, and the real issue is the class war. And then when you hear that argument, a lot of people say, well, historically, the Republicans and the elites are on the same side.
The big business, the big cigar chomping businessman and Republicans are on the same side.
And, you know, that's the rebuttal, but Memetic Sisyphus pointed out with this graph that that is not the case.
Whose employees have donated to Biden versus Trump? The 100 employers with the most employees who donated to each campaign. And every single thing on here is either neutral or donated to Biden. And like the only two that we have are the NYPD, the Marines, and the U.S. military.
And that's barely.
Yeah.
So everything is blue with maybe 10% being neutral and then like 2% being somewhat red.
Yeah.
And it's the NYPD.
Tiny red.
Yeah. So there's that argument debunked. All right, let's move on. Did you know George Floyd's parents' names were Felonious and Larcenia?
You got it a little wrong, but George Floyd's mother's name was Larcenia, and George Floyd's older brother was Philonice. And some people are calling it Felonious.
I say Felonious. I pronounce it Felonious.
So what is that, the simulation?
It's a little wink from the simulation. I think so.
Larcenia? Like larceny?
Yeah.
Felonious?
Exactly like larceny. All right, let's move on. RFK, let's let this clip play.
He's on some you shit.
Yeah.
Okay, my concern about 5G is that the RF radiation from 5G is dangerous. It penetrates it disrupts the blood-brain barrier. It also is associated with glioblastomas and other cancers. And it causes a lot of other dramatic health effects. And there are literally thousands and thousands of studies in that. I've litigated on that issue, and I've won in the Federal Court of Appeals. So, you know, you can say it's a conspiracy theory, but the Federal Court of Appeals, you know, I also won a case on Monsanto and glyphosate that it caused non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and that was called a conspiracy theory. What I've said about 5G is, yeah, it is dangerous. It is underregulated. Other countries regulate it much better than us. And we need to protect our children. We should not be having these.
So,
Getting zapped?
show watcher, RFK Jr. show watcher.
Yeah, he got it from the show. He's like litigating this in court. like
Before I was born,
Yeah.
probably. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are talking about the microwaves in our body getting microwaved.
So if you feel like you're
The
getting
metals
zapped,
in our body getting microwaved.
yeah, and if you feel like you're getting zapped, you probably are.
And it's true. And the brain-blood barrier.
You're giving him new tools. He's like, he's going to use that at a dinner party.
That's where you get
have you ever heard about the brain-blood barrier?
That's where all the metals get into, and that's what makes everyone, you know what.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. Modern art is a scam. I saw this thing that said that the CIA pushed modern art a while ago to just to trick people. It was like a CIA operation.
Yeah.
And then Cernovich had a tweet that said, "My kid stumbled into the modern art section and immediately knew it was a scam. You have to become an adult to believe such nonsense," which makes a lot of sense. And if you look at it from a long game perspective, and you look at it from what the deep state's goals were, you get people to forfeit their agency to authorities. You don't believe your eyes. You look at the modern art and you go, "Oh, this is splattered paint. This is crap."
Yeah.
But then everyone goes, no, that's not crap. This is $1 million art piece. This just got bought by Bill Gates. This is the most impressive new artist on the scene. And you go, "Oh, yeah, this is good." And it kind of gets you to not believe your own eyes and then forfeit what you do believe to the experts and the authorities. And I think it's just a little nudge that they did a while ago to get the snowball rolling, and it's led to where we are now. You have to ignore the obvious truths. Don't you agree?
A little bit, yeah. I was waiting for your whole point spiraling into what they're doing now, but I mean, modern art sucks compared to old style art, and I think if you can replicate it, then it's not very good or valuable.
I agree with
So
that.
it's how difficult it is to replicate. I was waiting for your schizo point to really reach a crescendo, but
I thought I reached it.
okay, that's
All
fair.
right, Mickey Rourke is doing a transition. Mickey Rourke's transition into Michael Myers is coming along nicely.
Yeah,
There he is. He's got the mask on. Congrats to him.
yeah. I mean, if that was your goal, Mickey,
You doing it.
keep it up.
All right, let's move on. We went to the beach the other day,
Mm-hmm.
Richard Rapway and I, over the weekend. And in the water, we saw a dolphin.
Yeah, we did see a dolphin.
So a dolphin came there's a lot of wildlife in the waters here at the beaches. A lot of fish, a lot of
I
schools
stepped
of
on
fish,
something.
a lot of pointy stuff. I'm less worried about bites. I'm more worried about spikes.
Yeah.
So we're in the water. There's a bunch of people around. We're just in the water. Fish everywhere. And then a dolphin comes. And everyone's looking at the dolphin, right? And then he comes up real close to like the people, basically in and out of like the people, and he's hunting fish. He jumps out of the water, eats a fish in the air, goes down.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh my gosh, that was so crazy.
You almost hit a girl.
Yeah, he almost hit a girl. There was some old people there who were kind of like barely getting out of the way fast enough. Everyone saw it except for the kid with the snorkel. I don't know where. That's like the one. That's like you missed it, buddy. You had your thing you're trying to find. This is it.
Yeah.
So everyone saw the dolphin. The dolphin swims on, and then we kind of had this moment where like we were friends with everyone at the beach who saw it.
Yeah.
Right?
It united us.
It united us. And I was like, yo, you saw that? That was crazy. How about when he came over here? And everyone was kind of talking and friends. And like the barrier between people was broken because we had the common experience of seeing the dolphin. And then I realized
Okay.
that's
Here
what
we
they're going to do with the aliens.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have alien events where everyone on the Earth's going to like unite around it because we're seeing the same thing. And it's going to like break the person-to-person barrier that we have. And then you would agree that the aliens and Space Force know the true outcome of the 2020 election.
You keep saying that. Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
So then I made the connection of, well, Trump supporters are going to be hesitant to believe the aliens are real because we kind of know it's like a Operation Bluebeam type scam or whatever, right? So they're going to be hesitant to believe it. But if they come in, the aliens come in and they say, oh, Trump really won the 2020 election, here's the real score, you're going to get all the right-wing people to be like, all right, these aliens, they're legit.
Yeah.
They mean business. And that could be the way to get everyone on board. But the real end goal of the aliens, I think, if they're fake aliens, is going to be one world government. Or shutting down elections and stuff like that. And uniting around that. And I was thinking, this is kind of how they could get the Trump people on board with the aliens. It's like, oh, they wouldn't give up that. I mean, that gives Trump. That's our guy. Puts our guy in charge.
You guys see what happens when he sees one dolphin at the beach? How it spirals, where it goes? So,
hey, when you're looking for stuff, you can find it everywhere.
Pull a thread that doesn't exist, and it'll get you to alien one world government shit.
Well, that's the end of housekeeping.
Nice.
Let's move on to Cringe of the Week. This week's Cringe of the Week is brought to you by FleccasMerch.com. We have our brand new podcast shirt. Very cool design right here. And hoodie. It's hoodie season. Get yours today. FleccasMerch.com. It goes a long way. Supports the show. Supports us. Get it while you can before it's too late. All right. Cringe of the Week. First cringe clip. The rules for trans men.
Trans men don't need to be like cis men at all in order to be men. Trans men don't need to know that they're a man from a really young age. They don't need to play with trucks as a little boy. They don't need to hate the color pink and purple. They don't need to hate dresses. Trans men can love to wear makeup. Trans men can be of any sexuality. Trans men don't even have to feel like men if they don't want to. They can be bi.
Yeah, and then you cut to the wide, and it's just him talking to a class of 7-year-olds. That's the teacher.
What's this lady talking about?
And
this, to me, feels like just they're done. They're opening up the doors. They're like, everything must go 90% off. Like, we will buy any car. It's like a desperate recruiting tactic.
No credit, no problem. No GED needed. It's one of those. You think you might be trans? Yes, you are.
Exactly.
We cash for clunkers.
Yeah. So there's no qualifications necessary anymore. They're just recruiting anyone. If you're a misfit, if you're left out, if you're in any way socially anxious, maybe autistic, come on down to Transtopia.
And I was doing some quick math here. I have an idea.
Okay.
Hear me out. It's math that most kids at school can't do these days, so we'll get to that next page. But it's take the number of trans people, right?
Okay.
And let's just work with even numbers. So say 300 million people in America, even though it's 350, 300,
50
right?
of which are illegal immigrants, yes.
Well, yeah, that takes us to like 400. Okay, so 300 million people. And then say 0.1% of the population is trans, right?
Okay.
So that's 300,000 people, right?
Okay. Yep.
Is that correct, or is that 1%?
I think that's correct.
That's correct.
Because 300 million, 3 million is 1%. So
Okay. And then from that number, you have 300,000 trans people total.
Okay.
That's the top part of the fraction. The bottom part of the fraction is 3,000x. X equals the number of cruise ships you need to load everyone up.
Because a cruise ship holds 3,000 people? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So we would need, X equals 100. We would need 100 cruise ships to load up all of the trans people in a nice way.
Very gentle.
And offer them, I mean, it would cost less than how much we gave to Ukraine. We offer them like a permanent vacation where we just send these 100 boats to Europe. They go to Tulum. They go to Australia. They like down under, down under. Wink, wink, a little innuendo. They like that. Send them to New Orleans.
Ooh.
Send them to New York, and just put them on a permanent vacation. And people will be like, "Oh, you're being mean." If my political opponents said, "Hey, do you want to go on a permanent cruise ship with all your boys and all the MAGA people?" I'd be grateful. I
might bite.
I might consider it. I'd be very grateful for that offer. You take them to New Orleans, New York, then back to Europe.
Yeah.
Leave them in Tulum for a month. Leave them all over Europe for most of the year.
Keep them occupied. Keep them busy.
Yeah.
No kids.
Exactly.
And then they can't make any kids either.
They can't, exactly. And then they can all date each other. They can dilate. The boat smells like shit.
Yeah.
It's like a fun thing for them.
Camp. It's summer camp.
And they like to hang out together. They don't like to hang out with us.
Yeah, there's polycules.
You can have as many polycules as you want. I would not want to be the cleaning crew on that boat.
Yeah, that probably smells like shit.
So that was my point. I think we just get them on cruise ships.
Okay.
In a very nice way. All right. This next section of Cringe might be the most important part of the entire episode.
Okay.
Kids in school, and if you're a teacher, let us know in the comments. It's obviously not everywhere. It's probably in the lower income areas.
Yeah.
There are teachers online saying that entire grades of students are years and years and years behind. Kids that are in like middle school can't even read, they can't do math, and then it's the entire class. Let this video rip.
I teach 7th grade. They are still performing on the 4th grade level.
It would benefit you to watch his entire video because he breaks it down about how and that's the kids that are doing well. Because I also teach 7th grade, and we have kids that have math grade level equivalents of 1st and 2nd grade, 3rd grade, many at 4th grade, very few at grade level, very few, if any, in some classes. These kids can't read, they can't decode, they have no vocabulary, no background knowledge. I've never seen anything like it. For context, for 8 years, I taught a self-contained program for significant language-based learning disabilities. It was the most restrictive environment. It was the step before being sent to a specialized school. And my 5th graders with significant language-based learning disabilities could write better than non-disabled 7th graders can now. They can't write a sentence. They don't know what state they live in. They don't know what region of the country they're in. They have no background knowledge. Most of them don't know who the president is.
Yeah.
They're coming to school.
So that's what No Child Left Behind plus shitty parents will do.
Yeah. I'm curious the cause. I don't really even know what the cause is. COVID, throw COVID right in some of their formative years and they were looking at a computer screen.
I think they just purposely made everyone retarded and then they did No Child Left Behind simultaneously. Yeah. And now these teachers are just glorified babysitters, just punting entire grades of students on to the next teacher.
Well, where did it start? The 1st grade teacher was just a menace and was like, kick back. Let's watch some vertical videos on TikTok, kids. Where did it happen?
It was probably similar to, how they taught us to do math? Mm-hmm. And it was super easy, how to cross multiply or whatever. And then they changed it to that weird thing where you write all those numbers and it didn't make sense even to adults.
Yeah.
There was a change in the curriculum that was part of it.
Common Core or something like that?
Common Core, No Child Left Behind. And they put all these things together, social media, people on their phones in school, and they put all these things together to make the kids stupid. And that's why they want universal voting.
Yeah.
So everyone has to vote. And it's how hard is it to get some kid who doesn't know what state they live in to be like, oh, you got to vote Democrat because the Republicans are racist.
Yeah. And
that's why they do that.
And this kind of dovetails with that Justin Awad videos where it's name 3 states and they go, I don't know.
Europe.
Yeah.
Asia. And they think they're getting it right. And everyone saw those videos and goes, oh, you just found a couple idiots. I'm sure you edited out all the bad ones. It's entire grades. The lady even said they don't know what state they're in.
Yeah. And so, obviously, I'd like to know the ethnic makeup of some of these teachers as well. I'd like to see what's happening because there's still always going to be well-to-do Asian, white families who are hardcore disciplined, whose kids are actually 3 grade levels above.
Oh, of course.
But this is like the cattle. This is like the middle of the pack people who like, oh, my parents are too busy. Both of them have jobs and nobody teaches me anything. And I come home and I watch vertical videos and I watch this live streamer all day.
Exactly. And then also you have a bunch of the teachers who probably think like, oh, I'm going to go teach for America and I'm going to make $30K a year and it's going to be like Freedom Writers with Hillary Swank. And I'm going to teach these kids how to appreciate education. Wrong. The kids don't even know what state they're in. They don't know what country they live in. They don't know what hemisphere they're in or what century they're in.
Yeah.
So that's not happening, buddy.
And I think there's a crucial time in kids' lives where you can't catch up. There's no catching up if you're at 4th grade and 7th grade. There's no, like, you need a personal tutor full time to even get you close to caught up, right? So
yeah.
That's part of the problem as well.
That's a huge part of the problem. Catching up at this point is basically impossible. And then what's going to happen? Say you're in a class of 500 kids, right? And 400 kids aren't up to speed and aren't at your reading level, math level, curriculum level correctly.
It's crabs in a bucket shit.
What's going to happen? Are they going to dumb the curriculum down for everyone else? And then the 100 kids that actually do know math and how to read are going to be brought down to a lower level? Or are they going to hold a high standard and then, we know the answer.
It's not trending like, keep pushing them.
Yeah.
It's trending lowest common denominator, right?
It's lowest common denominator shit.
Which kids don't even know. They don't know what that means.
And then
so we can say it and Gen Z doesn't even know.
Yeah, they don't even know denominator.
Yeah, exactly.
They think it's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger thing with the red eye.
Lowest common denominator. And he pulls out a gun. Get off this plane.
They don't know anything.
And it's actually not even a full movie. It's broken into 60-second TikToks. They watch it at like with AI speed and voiceovers. So
yeah. And that lady later in the video said that she would watch a 3-minute video. She'll tell the
show it to the kids.
She'll show it to before she shows it, she'll tell them what the video is about. She'll show it, and then she'll ask, what was that video about? And then the whole class is quiet.
Which I don't get it because for me, you're forced to watch it. You have to retain something. It's like learning or retaining knowledge isn't even like, I can't avoid it, I could be like, okay, that said this, that. Like you could fire from the hip and not even be paying attention, but you still remember some key phrases.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happening to kids. Do you want to go over some of this other stuff, supporting evidence for this case?
Yeah, we will. Really quick, remember that meme when we were in high school, how it was like, oh, I know how to do y equals mx plus b, but I don't know how to pay my taxes, or I don't know how mortgages work.
Yeah, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but how much is this mortgage going to cost me?
And everyone does the joke of like, oh, we taught kids so much stuff that we didn't actually teach them the important stuff of like how to participate in society.
That was kind of the millennial gripe. The millennial talking point was they didn't tell us how to, how taxes work.
Exactly. And the kids now, they don't even know y equals mx plus b.
They don't know that, and then they're wasting their time with what?
Now they know trans shit and nothing.
They know gay shit.
They know trans shit and nothing. And every kid thinks they're going to be a streamer or a YouTuber.
Yeah.
F in the chat. Oh, W, that's lit.
W in the chat. So here we are saying tickle the post.
Yeah.
So we're kind of, at least we can do math. If someone handed me a standardized test, I'd knock it out of the park, I think.
Of course. We went to Ivy League colleges.
No,
that wasn't easy.
Yeah, you turned it off since then, but you've just gone full schizo since then.
I lost my shit.
Yeah.
It's called losing your shit. All right, really quick. The 5th grader who can't annotate, this is part of it.
Yeah, this says, one of my 5th graders tried to make an annotation. It's insane what's going on. And if you look in this, he's circling something and goes, traits, view, WQPTRCTF. And then you go down a little bit. And it says drawings equals gems.
Games. Oh, that's games. I get that.
You can read this?
I get games.
You can interpret this? All right. So it's a little...
Drawings equals games.
You're on the level.
Okay.
But yeah, so back to the point of we used to ask for financial literacy or like, how do you weld something or how does the water supply work? And now they're just doing he, him, z, zer. Here's what the colors on this gay flag means. And they're wasting your time with even more useless stuff, which I didn't think was possible.
Yeah.
Y equals mx plus b, you can use that in a specific context. Knowing what z-zer is versus something else,
there's
really not many applications for that.
I know the trans shit better than y equals mx plus b.
I know, but that's cost of doing business. That's the game you're in.
But if you gave me Y and then you gave me B, I can find MX. All right, here's a teacher in Denver.
It's not even how it works.
Here's a teacher in Denver whose lesson of the day is Friday Circle. What are your biggest turn-ons? This is for 10th graders, I think.
Yeah, 10th grade.
So they're talking about sex with the kids.
What's your turn-on? Tell the teacher. Tell the whole class. Isn't this humiliating? I remember in 7th grade learning about sex ed, and it's like a very clinical, like, then the penis goes in, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, then the sperm can fertilize the egg.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, what gets you going?
Yeah, what are your kinks?
What gets you horny? Tell the whole class. And it's like, we were giggling at the teacher saying it.
Now,
Talking about, oh, the teacher has to say penis during this lesson. That's so funny. And now it's like, what gets you going, kids?
Yeah.
Stay after class.
Let's
Fucking
talk
tell
with
me.
each other about it. And then we have the students misgendering. So this is a teacher who says, the thing says, when some of my smart-ass students want to misgender me in front of my violently protective ride or die students.
Violently?
Funny, yes. But not funny, haha. Funny like this is going to be everyone's fucking problem in about 2 seconds.
So that teacher, that's what I guess the teacher taught the kids.
Yeah, this pig teacher needs her little soldiers that she flipped. She's going to make them violent against the rest of the class who doesn't want to play the game.
Violently protective. All right, and then let's go to the rap teacher.
Here's this one.
When you see me, how you gotta say what's good. Hey, wanna be on my rock, but it's my good. Hey, we be living, learning, and we turn it up. Hey, working to your desk, hold it up. Hey, when I holler me, hey, let me turn up. Hey, read it every day to get that scores up. Hey, on my way to success, it ain't no love. Hey, coming tight, so it's up, then it's up. Hey,
Well, she learned the song, and they learned ski-yee.
Yeah, ski-yee. That'll be useful, actually, on the streets. Ski-yee. Yeah. And actually, you know what's funny? I don't really have a problem with this, as long as every kid is doing math and reading at the exact grade level that they should. Do you think they are?
No.
Yeah.
It's a coin flip, but I'm guessing no.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we've seen the stats before that we've covered on, I think, more Urban Decay than Cringe, but like where Baltimore area schools, not one student is proficient in math.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Chicago has some of the same problems in some of those worst districts. And it's like, all right, teacher, you got your social media clip. What, like, do something, please.
Now everyone says, oh, we need to give the teachers more money.
Let's spend our way out.
To babysit more?
Yeah.
More money to what? Teach them what they should have been taught over the last 5 years and they didn't learn anything? There's that meme, do what they taught you in college. And it's just some kid thinking, what do I do now? Just do what they taught you in college. And it's like, I only know trans shit.
Gay shit only. And here's two other ones. This is percentage of 12th graders who have a driver's license, who've ever tried alcohol, and who ever go on dates, and who worked for pay at any point. So you're a 12th grader. You're a senior in high school. I had a job. I tried alcohol. I went on a date and worked for pay, right? Oh, and driver's license. Obviously, we all had that. You, I assume, had the same? Did you ever work? Did you ever have a job?
Yeah, I used to caddy, and then I worked in the summers and stuff.
And can you admit to drinking in the camera as an 18-year-old?
I drank a little bit.
Wow.
In high school. But only a couple times. I was straight edge until like my senior year, and then once I was already accepted into college, and I kind of like partied a little bit more.
Yeah, and so this is, I guess, a proxy for just like average social life, red-blooded American teen. We're not advocating for drinking, obviously, but it's all straight line down, you know? Nobody does anything anymore.
Mm-hmm. They just go on their phone.
They go on their phone. TikTok's enough, and, you know, whatever vertical video content. And then here's another one. These are just like kind of fell into this category. Gen Z falls for online scams more than their boomer grandparents do. This is published by Vox, so, you know. But it said the generation that grew up with the internet isn't vulnerable to becoming the victim of online hackers and scammers. So, I mean, that could be more like crypto type shit.
Yeah, but they're just stupid.
Scammers are getting better, do you think? Or do you think
it's easier to scam dummies?
It's
going to be nice when we're the oldest generation and everyone below us is just stupid.
No, because they're going to vote all our money away. They're going to vote for us to subsidize them to be stupid, like Wall-E people.
It's going to be bad when we're the oldest generation and we're the smartest.
I don't even know what we're going to do.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to urban decay.
So if anybody has any ideas, what's the cause of this? I don't get it, you know? There's really no main thesis driving the whole thing, right? COVID was a big part of it, right?
COVID is a big part of it.
Imagine not having to learn for a full 2 years and like you're a kid who has no desire to learn on your own or discipline, you know?
Yeah, disengaged parents.
Yeah.
Everyone made fun of the millennials for being children of helicopter parents.
Mm-hmm.
But
look at us now.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be nice now to have parents who care. All right, let's move on to urban decay. Really quick, can we open the bonus land folder?
Mm-hmm.
And then in bonus land today, we have a lot of really good clips. We have a girl who's really mad that her boyfriend doesn't speak Spanish like she does. We have a bunch of trans crazy stuff. We have Snoop Dogg.
We have Hassan Minaj with his comedian lies in his stand-up set.
Yeah, Hassan Minaj got caught lying, and he said, well, my lie wasn't a lie because it has an emotional truth to it.
He's a leftist good boy comedian, and he just got smoked.
Yeah, with a fake racism story.
Larry David finds out his ancestors were slave owners.
Oh, that's weird. The David family.
Yeah.
And then also there's a patent section about all these weird patents the government has to basically like microwave us. We'll go over that. And a couple other things. So that's coming in bonus land. So if you're thinking about signing up and you haven't done it yet, fleccastalks.com is the website. We have a great 30-minute bonus land coming for you, 2 o'clock Eastern, right after this episode drops. Mm-hmm. All right, urban decay. Let's go to the first one. The woman yelling at the cop, arresting the guy. This is a good one.
Why are you making him? Why are you punching him? Why you punching him? What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Why you punching him? Stop fucking hitting him. Stop hitting him. What you gonna do, break his arm? Like, stop fucking hitting him. Yo, you way bigger than
That's good. I like when cops do that.
It feels good. You're resisting arrest.
Yeah, and she goes, why are you hitting him? Why are you hitting him? Why are you hitting him?
Why are you macing him?
Why are you resisting? Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Put your hands behind your back. They're going to detain you. Just put your hands behind your back.
This will be a lot easier and do a lot less damage to you if your hands were behind your back instead of fighting right now.
That's what a lot of people do. They get arrested and they go, I didn't do anything. And then they just kind of try and get strong. And it's like, dude, if the cops say they're going to arrest you and they're going to detain you, they're going to put your arms behind your back and handcuff you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better just to go like this? And if they're incorrectly arresting you, then deal with it in court and sue them and make $1 million. They're looking to give away millions of dollars.
Yeah. And then also the woman yelling, it's always the criminal's perspective. Why are you hitting him?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing this to him? Like these cops just, like the NYPD is known to just swarm on random guys and beat them up.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually quite the opposite, right?
He must have really done something to actually get arrested.
I know. And then the woman, doesn't see the crime or doesn't know about it and then just comes up to yell at the cops. Yeah. No question of why you're resisting or, dude, just put your hands behind your back. They're going to keep hitting you. Yeah. Like even in the grand scheme of things, say these cops were wrong. It's like, do you want to get punched 9 more times? No, just do the thing and then tell them later.
And if the cops are right, then you're getting punched and you're going to jail.
Yeah, double whammy.
All right, let's go to San Francisco. So in San Francisco, there was a woman named Danielle Fong who had all of her stuff stolen.
She had her stuff stolen, but fortunately for her, she had it air tagged. So because many people in San Francisco, like this young lady, they know that they need preventative measures to stop stealing, right? And so Danielle Fong is tweeting out her problem about how she knows the location of her stolen goods, but she can't do anything. She's trying to tag SFPD to come help her retrieve her goods, right? And then some guy replies to her saying, have you considered just like walking in there, chiming the AirTag and asking for your stuff back? Because an AirTag has a chime, like it makes a sound.
Go up to the criminals who stole it and just ask for their stuff back. Ask for your stuff back.
Danielle Fong.
Yeah.
You dainty Asian woman. Please.
You're a skinny Asian girl.
Just go confront the criminals, right?
Confront those criminals.
Danielle Fong says, of course, the chances are high that there are at least 2 guys armed there. They look hard and mean. The stuff isn't out in the open. And there are 2 lookouts on the sidewalk along the edge of the highway where they're set up. It's not a level of risk worth taking in my gut. This is also like an encampment. Like it's like a little criminal street rat enclave. And then this guy continues to say, have you tried talking to the lookouts? It's a shitty but important job, and they'd probably appreciate the break from the monotony. They look hard and mean. So would you if you were on the streets for a while. It's kind of inevitable. Doesn't mean they want trouble. Danielle Fong, losing interest at this point, realizes who she's talking to, a shit lib of some kind, progressive, hyper-progressive. She goes, bro. And he goes, ain't your bro, just someone who routinely walks into encampments and recovers stolen shit.
So that's the advice. And then eventually Danielle Fong did get her stuff back. And then
she got SFPD to come.
Yeah.
And so SFPD came, retrieved her stuff. And then some guy
probably arrested nobody.
Yeah, it's just, well, take the stuff. I won't fingerprint. I won't take you down to the station. So then this guy comes in and says, I'm glad you were able to recover what was stolen, but I hope you'll explain how you got SFPD to come by in a timely manner and what role they played. And she says, there will be a fuller post about this, blah, blah, blah.
So yeah, there's like a hack. Like, oh, what was the hack you used to get SFPD to do their job?
Yeah, you have the most red-handed evidence of all time. My AirTag is right there. I know exactly where it is, and you still have a hard time getting the police to show up to help you.
And they say, oh, you should use your experience to teach others how to get their stolen stuff back.
She's going to do a clinic. She's going to do a clinic on how I got SFPD to help me.
And then during this time, there was a protest downtown where the people are, this guy says, this was an actual sign at a San Francisco rally opposing London Breed's policy of not letting people do heroin on the street. Progressivism delenda.
Don't even try it.
S.
Don't even try it.
Is that
buddy.
Latin?
Yeah, of course. But it says downtown is for drug users.
Yeah. So it used to be like, oh, we're empathetic and people are down in their luck and we don't want to, knock people when they're down. And now it's just,
we own this fucking city.
We're taking the city.
It's Bane shit. Bane's blowing up the bridges and like it's the drug users.
Downtown is for drug users.
So that's the current state of San Fran. Like you have to always be sympathetic to the lookouts, and people who look hard and mean and probably have weapons. Just go in there, chirp it, and say, hey, that's my stuff.
Hey, guys.
Especially if you're a petite Asian.
I know you broke into my car and broke my window and took my stuff. Can I have that stuff back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll go well. There was a girl who posted about boosting on her Twitter. Boosting is stealing, right?
Yeah, she says, I've been boosting since 17. Bought my own suite for my stuff. Put my mom in a house. Put myself in a apartment before I hit 18. I love it and never been caught. Thank you to the Lord. Can't tell me nothing wrong with it. I don't care. And this had 15,000 likes, 7 million views. And so this girl is just basically coming out and saying that stealing has put her mom in a house, her in an apartment, and has paid for her entire lifestyle. And all the replies are positive. Teach me how to do it.
Yeah. One person goes, can you teach me? And she goes, yes. Put it in your hand and walk out. We're talking big business here.
Yeah.
You put it in your hand and then you leave, still in your hand. That's your stuff.
Now you sell it.
So can you teach me? Put it in your hand and walk out. So they're plotting this online. This is like a good thing. And you were telling me how you feel like this is like when the parasite on the bottom of the shark or whatever.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know what they're called, lampreys or something or whatever it is. But it's like we're reaching a critical mass. And then imagine the shark is society, a functioning society or whatever. And 15,000 people like this. Everybody was cheering her on. You go, sis. And everyone with a brain knows that you can only have so many parasites on the host body before the host body goes, I'm not going to swim anymore.
Yeah.
I don't feel good. And I mean, that's currently what's happening with all the retail stores, Walmart, Target. Their slippage is much higher. Remember, they wrote the letter to Congress. And it's like, people are proud of it. They don't care. And there is a certain number of people who can be a scumbag parasite living on the scraps of society. But once you break that threshold,
the shark don't need to swim anymore.
The shark don't swim.
I don't even eat. I kill the animal. I don't even eat.
It's dead. And so, I mean, I feel like we're quickly reaching that point too. And, everybody says, oh, it's a big business. They can afford it. They can do this until, they leave and then your area becomes a food desert.
Then you say, why are there food deserts? Everyone's racist. They want black people to starve.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And like I've been saying, we're trending more towards Costco or membership only, where you can revoke the membership and then you're banned from the store for life. We're trending more towards that than we are open, nice,
and private
markets.
security too, all that stuff. And then also what we noticed was everyone who was replying positively in the comments of a crime, replying to a crime and saying, "Oh, that's great, you get yours." Oh,
get yours,
FM.
sis.
But then also the same community was replying negatively to Miss Zimbabwe being white.
White Miss Zimbabwe.
So blacks around the world outrage over a minority winning Miss Zimbabwe.
But they're cheering on the girl who's sustaining her whole family's lives by stealing.
And then this nice Zimbabwean girl who just happens to be white.
The last Rhodesian.
How is a white bitch Miss Zimbabwe? This lady asks.
And you know what?
Priorities.
Hey, I actually get that because I'm sick and tired of seeing like a weird black ethnic for Miss Sweden or whatever.
Me too.
So I'm willing to make a trade with the black community. We'll stay out of Zimbabwe. We'll stay out of Africa, except South Africa. You know what's going on there. And you know,
keep Europe as is.
We'll keep Europe as is.
As was.
Make a clean. Exactly. We'll make a clean trade. So.
All right, moving on. Page 2, Urban Decay. Still in Urban Decay. The New York City police guy opens the subway door, and the cops are right there. So I used to live in New York. If you ever hop the turnstiles or if you open the door to let people in, the cops, if you did it in front of a cop, like you're in trouble. That's who they avoid. I've seen people do it and run from the cops. This is what goes on now. So homie swipes, he goes in. Walks by, opens the emergency exit. His boys come rolling in, and the cops are right there, and they do nothing. Do nothing.
I'll just wait for someone to get stabbed. I'm not here to police the one thing where they steal, fair stealing, you know?
Yep. And then we have another NYPD clip where an activist punches a guy in front of the cops, and the cops do nothing again. So this guy's like harassing this guy, trying to get him to like buy his mixtape or something. He said, "You're living in the country my ancestors built. You're welcome."
Yo, shut the fuck up. Mind your business. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Officers, you let him punch me, officers. Excuse me, officers. You just punched me in the face. Put him in cuffs. Yo, you punched my woman standing here.
So punches the guy right in front of the cops, and the cops say, "Get out of here."
Get out of here. Go punch an old lady on the subway or something where we're not around.
Yeah, go to the subway and harass some old people where there's no cops.
Like, that's the guy. That's the guy who's just a single guy walking around looking for trouble. He does punch someone. Granted, it wasn't the worst punch on earth.
But you punch someone in front of a cop. That's like, you're stupid.
You're really dumb, and you probably need to be hauled away today, at least, until you calm down, because that was crazy, right?
And then he says, "Oh, my ancestors built this country." And it's like, okay, so you're taking credit for building the country with people 400 years ago, but then with people today who are destroying the country with like crime and violence, that's not related to you.
Yeah, my ancestors built it, but what my contemporaries are doing now, that has nothing to do with me.
And then there's also the idea, like, there are activists and, like, BLM types that say, oh, like, this country was built on slavery. And I talked to Mehmet Sisyphus about this, and he made some great points. He said slavery in its peak accounted for 75% of the world's cotton, and that money went to 2% of Americans, mostly in the South.
Yeah, it's like it built someone a ton of land and an awesome plantation house.
Yeah, and then that money from the Southerners who had it who benefited from slavery, that money was spent in the Civil War and was basically decimated and redistributed and went to zero, basically.
Yeah.
And then the North was urbanized and industrialized, factories, rail systems, more people. And that industrialization in the North is what took America to the next level. And it didn't even take us to the next level until after like World War I, basically.
Yeah, and World War II.
And World War II.
Even more specifically.
We didn't even become a real powerhouse until then. So this idea that this country was built on slavery, it's like, nah, buddy, that wasn't even a huge part of the GDP, really.
Yeah, he said on the Dutch-built island of Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go to the thief that gets stopped. The guy was trying to steal, and then they stop him.
Standard video, but a little more aggressive than usual. One legs him.
So
he goes back in.
Well, yeah, the cops don't arrest anyone, so $12 an hour retail guy, this is your job now. Your job has physical duties. You have to wrestle.
He's got handcuffs out.
Yeah, that looks like an undercover cop.
Okay.
But yeah, you work retail, you make $12 an hour, you have to wrestle people too, sometimes.
Yep. Good luck.
And then here's a random clip of an ice cream shop owner cleaning up. This is like a 2-second clip, but he's cleaning up, he's sweeping, he's trying to run a little business here. Everything's fine. And then some street rat walks up for no reason and just kicks over that ice cream thing. Cool, man. I was trying to run an ice cream shop.
Just for fun.
For fun, for town, for kids and people who come in. This is the local ice cream shop, and the guy just kicks it over. Because it's a street rat city.
Yeah. It's over.
It is over unless this next iteration of RoboCops that Eric Adams is introducing really does something. So look what they got now.
Devices like the K5 have the possibility to serve as a deterrent to crime, or at least learn best practices while using technology going forward.
So that's good. The NYPD now has a little RoboCop thing that doesn't do anything, and it just videos people doing the crimes.
So at least your stabbing will be on camera.
And then when you go to court, they can use that evidence to probably give you a lesser sentence or knock down your charges.
Yeah, the prosecutor's going to have that at their disposal right before they let off your offender.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, don't get too down, don't get too depressed. We are moving on to Uplifting Gold. We have
What's the point of living in a city anymore? You know, like that.
That's where all the action is.
Yeah, it's bustling. I live in a brick studio apartment.
That's where you get abortions.
I got 2 teeth knocked out.
Yeah, I get an abortion, and then the people shit on the ground and do drugs, and I could pay $4,000 for a 2-bedroom.
There's tapas.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Uplifting Gold. First clip: the 21-year-old Guatemalan girl.
How old are you?
21.
Where are you from?
Guatemala.
What do you look for in a guy right now?
He's funny and he treats me well.
What about the money?
Nah, I don't care.
Not at all?
No.
So he doesn't even have to make 100K?
No.
Let's say you made 100K. How much should he make?
I don't care. I really don't care about money.
What do you care more about?
So, good news, guys. Don't get too down. Don't get too depressed. You can always just date someone from the third world. This 21-year-old Guatemalan at the nightclub will go out with you.
Yeah.
She's nice.
As long as you're funny.
Yeah.
So you got to be funny, boys.
She's nice.
Hey, the universal truth for men out there is always be funny, right?
That's true. That's where, we're funny guys.
Yeah. Don't take yourself too seriously. You got to be doing bits. Work on your bits.
Growing up in my house, like a family saying from my grandparents was don't take yourself too seriously. And I always listened to that. And, some people in my family take themselves more seriously than others.
Mm-hmm.
We all know who. But I never did, and it played out.
Yeah.
It played out nicely. All right, let's go to the healing journey fail. This is a quick clip, but, this person's on their healing journey, day 547. They got some new boots. Uh-oh. Gonna have to heal from that. Oh, man. All right. Roasting the airplane mid-flight. This guy is funny. He's writing just a brutal review about the airline on the plane. Cold vegetables, frozen food, wasn't happy.
You served vegetables that were frozen solid. You also interrupted my movie twice.
So that's uplifting. I don't know why. Let's go to a real uplifting clip. This guy donates money to a drive-thru.
The drive-thru, I think they were down on their luck, and he came in and said, let's make it charitable.
This might be the most insane act of kindness of all time. As this man drives up a McDonald's drive-thru, he pulls out something unexpected. Out of his car comes a tray full of various bills, and the man surprisingly begins to fill the cash register with money. As he eagerly gives away the legal tender to the restaurant, an employee that sees what is happening walks over and begins to help him organize all the cash, finally closing the cash register for safekeeping. Subscribe if you think he did the right thing.
So for every urban decay, there are also uplifting things too.
There's still good in this world, guys.
Yeah. All right, let's end it on an actually uplifting clip. Little kid chefs. This is nice. We're gonna go no music because it might be copyrighted, but it's 3 little kids and their mom, it looks like, or 3 kids in a class, and they're all learning how to prepare fish. They scale it, they stuff it with vegetables, put a lemon on it. Put a lot of seasoning on it. Well, a lot of seasoning, which is fine. They clean the stuff. That's a thing. That's a tip. Clean the shakers after. It gets a little greasy if you don't. They got their safety gloves. They're chopping vegetables, and they're learning life lessons. And they got their hats.
Yes, chef.
Do you know about the chef hats?
Yes, chef.
You do?
Yeah, it's so you can hide a rat under there so he controls you.
And he knows what all the ingredients need to go.
Right?
Well, the higher the hat, the more prestigious the chef.
Ooh.
So if you have a little hat, you're like a new chef.
Yes, chef.
And then if you have a middle, you're putting your time in. And then
What was that?
And then if you have a big hat, you're like a veteran.
Okay.
So that's nice. These kids learned some lessons and they're doing good stuff and they have discipline.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the end of the episode. Do you have anything we need to add? Did we forget anything? Do we have any personal life updates?
No, none.
Nothing, right? We went to the beach, saw that dolphing. That's
That
basically
dolphing was it, baby. It was some Nat Geo shit.
Yeah, that was basically it.
Well, I finally got Fleccas to go to the beach. That's kind of the main part. We live 12 minutes from St. Pete, like the best strip of beaches. People pay to come here and go on vacation, and if we're not using it, we're wasting our money, you know?
Yeah.
So it feels good to finally get some use out of the beach.
And it was so easy. We parked and then walked, and it was like 2 minutes.
It was right there.
And we saw dolphing. We threw a football. We threw a football with some kids.
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned your football. Fleccas, we started playing catch with a football. We bought it at Publix on the way. Get pub subs. Go to the beach. And then we were playing catch with a football, and then these 2 like 15-year-old kids came up, and Fleccas was playing catch with them, and he was throwing bombs. And one of the kids goes, "Were you a quarterback?" As he's sitting there, shirt off. You know what Fleccas is like. Pretty heavy. I'm not going to say how much. But the kid goes, "Were you a quarterback?" to Fleccas. So Fleccas is he was on a high for the rest of the day.
Still on it. Running off those fumes still.
Yep.
That's why the energy was so good for this show.
Until you get another compliment, which will be like 6 months from now, you know? That's how men do it. They hold on to that. Were you a quarterback? Quarterback?
And then, I was like, no, I played O-line. And then I was like, what position do you guys play? Because they played in high school. And then the one kid was like, oh, I'm a quarterback.
Really?
And I was like, oh.
He couldn't throw.
Yeah. I was like, oh.
So sorry.
But he said he
sophomore team, you know, he could probably be good.
And he said that he has trouble throwing composite footballs. He only knows how to throw leather.
Sounds like
And it's like, I'm throwing like this crap ball from the store that's barely filled. It's
That's wet, yeah.
It's like 10 pounds, and I'm throwing it like 60 yards in the water. And it's like, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I guess it's hard for...
Yeah, I'm shocked you didn't bring that up. I'm shocked that wasn't like thing 1 of housekeeping. Some kid asked me if I was a quarterback.
I honestly forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, you guys know, OG Fleccas fans from before the show even existed, you guys know that I can really launch a football. We had that thing at St. Pete where I went to like a local high school and I threw 60 yards from my knee.
Yeah, but that was a smaller ball.
It was a 50-yard line, and I threw the ball out of the back of the end zone from my knees.
That was a small ball.
Small ball, whatever. Let's see anyone else do it.
True.
So, and I could really whip it. So, yeah, when people talk to me, when they see me playing football, they go, were you a quarterback?
Yeah. Were you that fat quarterback on Kentucky that one time?
No? Okay, well then you're definitely not a quarterback because that was the only guy to ever do it. All right, that's the end of the episode. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you join us in Bonus Land, 30-minute Bonus Land, dropping in a couple of hours on fleccastalks.com. We have a lot of great topics, really good clips, exciting stuff, and then some schizo conspiracy things. And we're doubling our Bonus Land output. So after every episode, there's going to be a Bonus Land. So if you guys were on the fence before thinking about joining, now is the time to join. It ends up being like about $7 a month. How much does a coffee cost when you go to the store, Richard? to get
$5.
get an iced coffee with a red eye.
$5 with an extra shot. Yeah,
it's $5. That's the same as 7. 5 is 7.
You start making leaps.
Yeah, 5 is 7. 7's not 10.
Yeah,
$7.
Yep.
All right, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in bonus land.
Others to care about us more than we care about ourselves. We're all free, or none of us is.